Welcome back to This is Baseball. Well, we did it. The World Series came to a conclusion last night. The Texas Rangers finished off the Arizona Diamondbacks winning the World Series 4-1. The Texas Rangers went 11-0 during this postseason. Corey Seager won World Series MVP for the second time on two separate teams. And the Texas Rangers won their first World Series championship in franchise history. Obviously, they went to back-to-back championships in 2010 and 2011. Weren't able to get those done. Came here. Chris Young, their general manager, built a team, brought in Corey Seager, brought in Marcus Semien, Jacob deGrom. Obviously, deGrom was injured, so he wasn't really a part of this story. But people came to Corey Seager, Marcus Semien came to the Texas Rangers because they believed in what Chris Young had to offer. They both signed long-term deals to play for Chris Young, to play for the Texas Rangers, Nathan Eovaldi as well. And it's already paid off. This team, yeah, they won their championship early. So any money that has been spent on these free agents coming in to Texas, it is already paid off, and it is already 100% worth it. Now, the nice thing about the Texas Rangers is this is a team that, honestly, they're built to last. They're not built to win one championship and then just kind of fall off the face of the earth and be irrelevant. They're a team that is built to be competitive for the next 5 to 10 years. They're going to be legitimate World Series contenders for many years to come. And that's a testament to how Chris Young has built this roster. And that's what you're going to have to do if you are the Rangers. You're going to have to keep competitive long term, because the Astros are still going to be there, I think, for the next few years. So it's not going to be easy for the Rangers, but again, they're a team that's built to last and a team that is built to possibly win multiple championships this decade. And as for the Arizona Diamondbacks, what a fun story this team was. A young team, a team that was going toe-to-toe with the Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League West for about half of the season. The Diamondbacks were a wild card team. They won 84 games, went the hard route through the postseason. Same with the Rangers. But this was a team that maybe they showed up to the party a little bit early. But here's what I do know. The Diamondbacks need to use this World Series loss as fuel, as motivation going into next season. It reminds me of the 2014 Kansas City Royals. They were a team that kind of did the improbable. They went undefeated all the way up to the World Series, and they ended up losing to Madison Bumgarner and Bruce Bochy in the World Series and get in 7 games. And the Royals lost, and they didn't just lay down. They said, you know what? We'll be back. And they came back the next season. They won 95 games in 2015 and beat the New York Mets in 5 games to win the World Series. And I think that is the mindset that the Arizona Diamondbacks need to have going into next season. Is we know we belong here. We are a respectable franchise. We are a team that should be taken seriously, and we'll be back. And they need to go after the Dodgers in the NL West, and they need to figure out a way to find himself back in the World Series next year and finish the job. Overall, an absolutely incredible 2023 season from start to finish. Texas, a team coming into it, had the expectations of winning. They were just going to have to get past the Astros, and they did that. I think that it's symbolic that the Texas Rangers beat the Houston Astros in the ALCS, and to me it kind of feels like maybe that was a passing of the torch within that division. We'll see next season how that plays out. Arizona, again, a team that nobody really had them on their radar to be competitive, let alone make a World Series run. So you love when that type of thing happens, when a team that you didn't expect to be there gets there. That's one of my favorite things about baseball in general, is you think you know who's going to be there at the end, and then you're just wrong. Because I had the Braves and Astros from day one. I was beating that drum all the way into the postseason, and the Braves had the best regular season in the league, and I felt really good that they could get into the World Series and win it. Obviously, they had to run into the Phillies again, and the Phillies took care of business against the Braves for the second season in a row. Houston, to me, just a team that it's really hard to pick against them just because they seem to be there at the end more often than not. So it just made sense for me to pick the Astros. And they ran into a Texas Rangers team that are road warriors and had to go into Houston in Game 6 and Game 7 and win both of those games in order to advance. And that's what they did. We're going to have a busy offseason in Major League Baseball, as we do every year. Free agency is going to be around the corner. Winter meetings will be coming up. And honestly, before we know it, February is going to be here and spring training is going to be kicking off. And with all that being said, I'll still be around for the offseason. We'll probably go to an every other week type of schedule unless some sort of big news happens. I'll hop on here, but we're going to spend the off season and just work on some different types of projects. I kind of mentioned it last week. We'll look at the history of the game a little bit. It's a long off season, so we're going to have a little bit of fun with it. And yeah, like I said, I'll still be around. Next time you hear from me, in a couple weeks from now, I think what we're going to do is just kind of do a grade of every team's season, what were their expectations going into 2023, and did they or did they not live up to those expectations. I'm hoping to have some news on the Kansas City Royals stadium situation, so we can dive into that once we get a little bit more clarity on what's happening with them. And again, as I said earlier, there's going to be plenty of movement in free agency that we'll get to cover and see who goes where. So baseball will still be active. We'll still have a lot to talk about, but again, we'll have a lot of free time. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening this season. Baseball was something that I had been wanting to do for a long time, and finally got to a point in 2023 where I could do it. My first episode was about opening day, and honestly, I sat in front of the mic that day and just kind of talked from the heart. I didn't really have anything planned. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I did that episode, put it out there, and was hooked. And this has been one of my favorite things to do, is this podcast each and every week. And to see the growth that has happened just with me on the show and with listeners has been really fascinating to see and to watch. Learned a lot along the way, and super excited to see where we can take this. I've got big plans for This Is Baseball over the next really 6 months to a year. And I'm grateful for what we have done so far. And again, excited to see what comes next. But again, with all that being said, thank you for listening to This Is Baseball all season long. I do have a couple other podcasts that are very active that I would love for you to listen to. One is the Football Kingdom podcast. It's a weekly show, very similar to This Is Baseball. I do it with a friend of mine, and those episodes come out every Wednesday. And then I also have the Merge Feast with a couple other friends where we just recap the most recent episode of Survivor, and again, just have a lot of fun with those projects. So if you're interested in that, those shows will be in the episode description down below. So give those a listen. 2023 Major League Baseball season is in the books. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.